Check, check, 1, 2. Live from the Eiffel Mountains in the Rhineland, this is round 11 of the Scorpio Super Formula Series at the Nurburgring. Hello everyone and guten Tag! My name is Scorpio Blade. I am so excited to be back, and thank you all so much again for tuning in as we get ready for 13 laps of high-speed bravery. Built in 1920 and clocking in at 15.7 miles, over 170 corners, and a lap time in excess of 6.5 minutes. The Nurburgring has become the leading test site for automobiles. Winning here isn't about just having sheer pace, it is about survival. There is nearly 1,000 feet of elevation change across this nearly 16-mile course. And on top of that, these drivers will be averaging over 140 miles an hour on a track barely wide enough to fit 3 cars side by side and lined with unforgiving curbs and grass that will take you into the barriers faster than you can blink. Where drivers normally have to race their fellow competitors, here it is all about racing the track itself. With overtaking opportunities at a premium, and track position will be critical for today's event, and every mistake these drivers make will be amplified because there won't be a safety car to bail anyone out this week. So let's go and set the grid as we get ready for qualifying here in the Eiffel Mountains. Might have missed time that by a couple moments, but good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be back. So happy to have you all back. Very much looking forward to today's event. Should be very, very exciting indeed. Again, 13 laps around this behemoth of German asphalt in the middle of the Ardennes forest. And we should be getting ready to go qualifying here in just a few moments. Apologies for the brief delay. We should be getting ready to go here any moment. Unfortunately, I've ran out of notes already for my pre-qualifying event. Doesn't matter. Alright, here we go. Qualifying underway. Few bits of note to take note for our regular viewers, as we do have a couple procedure changes. Obviously, no safety car for today's event. Just more with how technical of a track this is and how long of a lap it is. A safety car would end up costing us way too much race time, and it would take far too long to get going. So we will not be having a safety car. Qualifying has been upped to 15 minutes, and we are in the rain as well. So qualifying completely in the wet. I can't say this is a first time for this series, but it is definitely a rare occurrence to have a wet qualifying session here in Scorpio Super Formula. So that should make it even more interesting, especially considering just how wet of a track it is. I will happily go through all of the indicators at the bottom of the screen that you will see as the drivers make their way around. The big one to keep note of is going to be on that bottom left. You have the race timer, as we have just passed 35 seconds. Directly next to that is the water on track indicator, which, as it would describe, tells you how much water is actively on the track beneath the cars. So as they go over the curbs, you might see that spike up a little bit. That's just from water pooling inside the curbs, as you can see, as Vader makes his way around the hairpin and up toward the Schumacher S. 3 bars, 3 segments inside that indicator. If the indicator is beneath that first bar, It is typically dry tire conditions. In the middle section is typically what we would call the intermediate condition. So that's where you will see drivers like Vader on the IM compound, standing for intermediate. And then as you see the bars start to peak up into the blue, if it gets too far into that is, as you can see, Vader sliding around quite a bit already on this outlap. So as I was alluding, qualifying now set to 15 minutes plus 1 minute for those drivers already on a lap. So not a whole lot of time to get lap time in, and with the track doused in water, it's going to be very tricky for these guys to even get one lap. They're going to need to be extremely careful getting around on this outlap before they then go ahead and set their flying lap. Again, 15 miles. They're going to cover over 32, nearly 32 miles on just one qualifying run before they can return to the pit lane. Still got a long ways to get around, and S2K already picking up a half-second penalty. That is not going to be added to whatever his flying lap is. He will have to serve that at a pre-dedicated slowdown point. I believe it is right at the start of the Dothinger Straight, which, if you look up at the top right corner of the screen, is the very long straight toward the end of the lap, bottom side of the track map. I believe we do have a few new viewers with us today, so a very warm welcome to you all. Very happy to have you all here. Very excited for today's event. Again, this is going to be very much a battle of survival and just who can keep their cars on the track as much as possible, who can make the fewest mistakes. That will be what determines our race winner here today. And we will get into our previous race recap in a few minutes' time, obviously once qualifying ends. But I can tell you this: if it is a battle of survival, keep an eye out for Rybird, currently who actually just returned to the pit lane. He did very well last time out in another race of survival at Spa. So expect him to be in with a pretty solid shout here as he is exiting the pit lane on the soft tire. What is he up to? Track is very much still in wet weather condition, but he has decided he wants to play around on the soft tire. A lot of drivers now actually returning to the pit lane. This is Ryan that we are currently on board with, also jumping onto the soft tire. So evidently he and Rybird seeing something on the radar, potentially a dry patch where they think the track's going to be dry enough on the flying lap. And this is kind of the reason why we don't often see any what's the word I'm looking for? Why we don't often see any wet weather qualifying sessions is because the rain, especially around a track as big as this, can play such a huge factor in terms of who's going to get a good qualifying lap in. So Ryan and Rybird now, as you can see them trundling around at the moment, obviously they still need to get back to the start-finish line early enough to be able to start their flying lap. But if it keeps drying up for them, they're going to be miles faster than anyone else currently circulating around the track. And actually, you can see Method further around the lap, already into a much drier portion of the circuit. Again, that indicator, if it drops below that first bar, they should be in a, I say they, Rybird and Ryan should be in a very good position here. Still a little bit too much water for their tires to really handle for the moment. But it is definitely still actively drying for them. So they're going to need to be very careful on their laps, but they could be in the catbird seat if they can survive the outlap. Vader has returned to the pit lane. No, he hasn't, never mind. For whatever reason, he's been dropped further down the order. I think he did return to the pit lane and has just made his way out of the pits. Here is S2K making his way out onto the Dothinger Straight. This is the section of track I mentioned earlier. We'll see if he's able to serve this time penalty here, and will. So he will be all set for his flying lap. Still a very wet portion of track here on the south side of the circuit. That might not bode very well for Ryan and Rybird if the track is indeed as wet as it is, as S2K is going to come around to start the lap now with just about 7.5 minutes remaining when he does get to the start-finish line. S2K, our championship leader, and by a pretty handsome margin, 68 points. I have to double check the standings. No, sorry, 66 points clear of Ryan. Currently out in front, so he's been looking very good over the course of the season, and he's going to look to continue to build on that gap now as he makes his way down into turn 1, and he has begun his first flying lap. A 7-minute 30 out lap for him, so about a minute slower than dry times with all the water that is accumulated on the circuit. As he makes his way through the Grand Prix section of the course. This is where we will likely see, if there is going to be any on-track action, this will be the place where most drivers will want to try to overtake, is through this much wider, much more flowing section of track, where, excuse me, they will have much more opportunity to try to make a pass happen. You see S2K now coming up toward the back straight of the Grand Prix section, flying around now as he's going to come up to the very fast left-right chicane here, actually putting his tires into some of the standing water, trying to keep them cool, prevent them from overheating. And now out onto the Nurburgring proper, getting right up next to the test facility pit exit, and will dive his way down the hill to continue the lap. Again, these cars not necessarily going to be doing it in the dry, or in the wet, excuse me, but in the dry, averaging over 140 miles an hour across this 16-mile lap. And here we're going to really need to spend some time on this lap, especially on the straights, doing as he is right now, dipping his tires into some of that water to keep them cool, to prevent them from overheating and wearing out too much. If he can do that, the intermediate should still be a comparable tire to the soft. Obviously, it will have a little bit less grip because of the grooves in the tread, which is why it is called an intermediate, because it allows drivers to run on fairly damp surfaces. Much like your road car tires, these tires do have treads inside the groove, or grooves in the tread, excuse me, allowing these cars to push the water out, and so that way they don't hydroplane. Whereas for Alex and Rybird, who have jumped onto the soft tire, that is a completely what we call a slick tire. There is zero tread, or there are zero grooves on the tread, so it is, if there is any amount of surface water, they will go for a slide very quickly. S2K now making his way down into some of the more technical parts of this lap. Actually, a very good point being raised in the chat. Ryan and Rybird probably not going to be able to make it around to the start of the lap in time. There's only 5 minutes, yet not even 5 minutes left in the session, and they haven't even made it to the start-finish line to start their lap. So they might not even get a time on the board. And that could be detrimental for Ryan, who again is second. Oh no, Ryan's actually been into the wall. He has destroyed his car. Front wing, front suspension, rear suspension, and rear wing all torn off of that car. He's obviously been off into the wall somewhere, and that was the risk of putting on a slick tire in these adverse conditions. So I'm not sure if Ryan thinks he's going to be able to just try to get a lap in even with a damaged car. But if he wants any amount of track position, he's got to try something. Rybird is in a better situation given that his car doesn't have damage. But it is still a very greasy track, so grip is still going to be compromised. It normally takes about 6 minutes 30 to get around for a lap. It took him 8 minutes on the outlap. We're at 12:30 now. It's going to be close. I'm not sure. If it is indeed only an extra minute once time expires, these two could be in a world of trouble. Back up toward the front as S2K has cleared the carousel. Now making his way down the hill and toward what we affectionately known as YouTube Corner. Corner very famous for its viral clips on the internet. Okay, now plummeting down the hill, coming into a very dangerous section. Cars typically getting air over that jump there, but he's got enough downforce to keep himself planted as he crests the hill. And again, cars getting very light on their feet through that section. Now just only a few more corners to go here until he gets to the Dawhanger Straight. Using all the track width and then some in order to get around. This is the second carousel here as he makes his way through. And let's ride on board with him as he comes onto the main straight. Even on the intermediate tires, completely flat out onto the straight. Over 170 mile an hour as he crosses under the bridge, using the standing water off to the side of the track to try to cool down the tires for this final complex of corners coming up. And let's not forget, this is technically a public road when racing sessions aren't occurring. It's basically just a giant toll road for fans and spectators to go ahead and make laps around. As S2K makes his way out of the final corner, comes up to the line. It will be an under 7-minute lap time, which is very impressive in the wet. A 6:54.484. Very fast lap, and that is the benchmark for everyone else to try to beat. It looks like Alex will be the next over the line. He moved himself up to 5th in the standings a couple races ago. What can he do as he comes up to the line? It is not going to be pole position. It will still be under 7 minutes for him. Alex goes P2 for the time being. Supa comes over the line a little bit slower as well. About 7/10 down on Alex. Deck, a new driver to the series. What can he do here? Used up a lot of his tires on the lap though. And he is going to come over the line and he will set a 7:02 lap for him. And then it is a big gap back to the next car in line. Quackadelli front wing damage on his car, so he's going to be a bit compromised for the tail end of the lap. And he will not get pole position. He's actually going to be quite a ways down on the rest of the field here. Method come around here in the middle of the lap. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to get a lap time in, as time should expire in about 5 seconds here. "16 minutes have elapsed. It looks like everyone is still under control of their own cars. Quackadelli will come up to the line and he will set a 7-minute 23.9. So quite a big gap from 4th to 5th at the moment. Method is still on a... Ryan has returned to the pit lane. He will not set a lap time. He will start last. Vader is cruising around at the moment. Actually, no, that I believe that is under AI control. So it will be up to Method and Rybird left to set a lap time. Assuming time doesn't expire on them before they can get back to the pit lane. Method still has the big straight and the final complex to go still. The question is, for Rybird, can he finish the lap in under 2 minutes from now? Yes, and I do agree. It does seem like, for whatever reason... Oh, Rybird goes off the track again! I was going to say, it does look like the game's going to allow these drivers to complete their lap regardless. I was going to say, Rybird, with the soft tire, might have been able to try to get around to complete the lap. He might have been able to get pretty far up the order. He still might have a chance, but there is still only a minute left for him to try to nab pole position away from S2K. I just don't think that's going to be enough time for him to get back to the start-finish line. It is a lot of high-speed section of track, though, so we will have to wait and see. Method crosses the line and does go 5th ahead of Quackadilly, although only a 7-minute 11.619. So that leaves Rybird, the last one, to set a lap then. He's been into the wall again. He's now ripped off both front suspension. And yeah, he's not gonna be... He is not on pace for a pole position lap time, despite the strategy to go onto the soft tire. It was an interesting call, to say the least. And I can't say it might not have worked out for him. It's just, unfortunately, the task of trying to keep his car on the gray stuff without hydroplaning off into the barrier just proved a little bit too much, and then ended up asking a little bit too much of the car when he was on the lap. So Rybird is going to come around to complete a lap, but he will stay 7th. He will end up behind Quackadilly here, and he's going to cross the line at about a 7-minute 27. I was going to say a 7-minute 30. He did get to the line before then. So a 7:27.608 for Rybird's going to have him start 7th. Vader, also without a lap time, will start 8th, and Ryan, without a time, will start 9th. And wow, there's actually still another 3 minutes for these drivers to finish the session. That's crazy. Again, I don't believe anyone is still on a flying lap at this point, so I think we're just waiting on time to expire, and then we will be able to get off into the race. So, qualifying pretty much all said and done now, so why don't we move on to our previous race recap. Last time out at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. The record player isn't skipping, but one could be forgiven for thinking so, as it was AMS S2K once again taking pole position and winning the race, although it was not without incident. It initially looked like at the start of the race he made a catastrophic strategy error starting on the slick tires on a wet track, which immediately dropped him outside of the top 10. But after a lap 1 safety car, it would end up working in his favor as the track would dry out while they were still under a safety car. Everyone who had started on the inters would be forced to pit, and that would leave S2K back up at the front, where he would go on to win the race by quite some margin before... Where was I on my notes? With that means S2K is once again on 4 race wins in a row, having taken his 16th career win in the Scorpio Super Formula Series, and now looks to go 5 in a row here in Germany. But as I alluded to earlier in the broadcast, S2K was not the only one making headlines, as Rybird, through a combination of keeping out of trouble and managing a great pit strategy, would take home his first and long-awaited podium, finishing in 2nd place and sandwiched between the 2 AMS drivers, catapulting him up the standings. And speaking of the standings, as I said earlier on the broadcast again, S2K continues to build on his championship lead, now sitting at 238 points, again 66 points clear of Ryan. Larson and Supa are now tied for 3rd place in points with 130 each, and Alex rounds out the top 5 at 95 points. He, however, is followed closely by Greminos on 91 points. Rybird, with his incredible 2nd place finish last time out, now has 70 points in 7th. Guzman in 8th on 64. Vader is on 49 points and trailed closely by Queckadilly, who is on 48. Method and Payme are in 11th and 12th, set on 44 and 42 points respectively. As for the team championship, AMS continuing to extend their lead and now have broken the 400 point mark, now sat at 410 points in the championship. Scorpio and Sunpulse tied on points scored last time out at Spa, both teams earning 22 points across their top 2 scoring drivers. And so Scorpio continues to hold on to 2nd place in the team's championship by 20 points over Sunpulse. Foxhound, the 4th multi-car team in the series, now sit in 4th at 202 points. And we will be ready to get underway here in just about a minute. So, if you haven't already taken the moment to go grab a drink or a snack, sit back, relax. We should be in for a treat here today. Wet weather race, so the mandatory tire rule is not in effect. Drivers will not be mandated to run the soft tire unless they choose to do so on their own whim. It will be a wet weather start for the off, so we will have to wait and see whether or not that means a full wet tire or the intermediates. Judging by the downpour, I would say it most likely will be a full wet tire to get going. We'll take a quick look at the radar, as we can see here. Lots of red and yellow out on the radar, so could be treacherous conditions for these drivers. As we look to the lights, I believe it is still a standing start here today, as we are starting on the GP layout. And I can't really tell from back here. I think it is going to be a rolling start. So S2K starting on the intermediate, even though you can see in the bottom left corner, definitely close, pushing on full wet tire conditions. It will be S2K ahead of Alex, ahead of Supa and Deck. Method rounding out the top 5. Only 6 races left in the series after today. We are green at the Nurburgring. And it looks to be a pretty good start for everyone through the field, as Supa immediately looking to make a move. 3 wide into turn 1. Alex and Supa late on the brakes. Alex going to take the top spot immediately going down into turn 1. He gets ahead of S2K. It is then followed by Supa and Deck in third and fourth. Side by side further in the back, that is Ryberg immediately making up ground on Crocodile, who goes for a spin. Crocodile goes around. Ryan now moves up into 7th, Vader into 8th. Crocodile is going to drop down into 9th. He did not hit anything. He will be all good. Alex immediately coming under fire again from S2K. He wants that top spot back. Alex with a snap of oversteer coming out of the hairpin. They will be side by side into the Schumacher S. S2K backing out of that one as he himself gets a little bit sideways on exit. And these two going head for toe as they come into the S's here. And S2K with that inside lane going to be able to take the top spot again. Alex getting onto the overtake button as he's going to try to take the run back to S2K. Supa's firmly into 4th. Ryan with a great opening lap is up to 4th. As Alex, S2K's gone off. The intermediate tire, too much for him. I think he got up onto the curb and that's why he went for a spin. Able to hang on to it, and that was his teammate Ryan. Ryan's had a problem. I think he might have gotten rear-ended there. Can't tell if Ryan got rear-ended. Rybird has rear wing damage. Deck with a horrible opening lap dropped him from 4th to 8th. And again, we talked about a battle of survival here. Alex out in front, leading the way for Scorpio Esport. Followed closely by Supa running 2nd. Method up into 3rd. A great start for Scorpio on the intermediates. S2K still going. Does not have damage, most importantly. So he is in 4th and should be able to recover now. Oh, everyone going off wide at Flugplatz. Multiple cars into the wall. What on earth is happening? I think we might have had a lobby issue. So evidently we've had a lobby issue. I'm going to try to get a word on what has happened. And I think, okay, so that, evidently we have had a full lobby disconnect. First time we have ever had that happen in this series. All right, folks, technical difficulties, don't go anywhere. We will be hopefully back in a few minutes. We are going to restart hopefully soon. So again, apologies for the technical difficulties. It sounds like the lobby host disconnected, and because Gran Turismo 7 has such a great game design, that immediately kicks everyone else out of the lobby. Also, as it, not that it matters anymore now, but it sounds like S2K went off because he actually broke going into the chicane leading onto the Nurburgring proper. It sounds like he might have been rear-ended by Alex. I would say we will wait up on the stewards to make a decision about that, although given that the race is about to be restarted completely, I don't think it's going to matter too much. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few moments. Folks, I am going to restart the stream just so that way I don't accidentally leak the lobby code. So don't go anywhere. Please be sure to retune into the Scorpio Esports channel. We are going to have to do a brief stream restart just so that way we're not leaking the lobby code once we go live here. So once again, we will be back in a few moments. We will be back live once we have just about everything else sorted. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.